All right. Good afternoon, everybody. This is December 14th. It's a Thursday. Today, we're going to finish up our discussion on the financial connections that the stock market crash has with the Depression with the bell ringer today. Really easy day. Nothing too difficult. But we talk about how the stock market crash connected to the Depression. Come up with some of the answers. We did the worksheet past few days. You want to get that out that we went over. See what you have for that. You can fill out your bell ringer question for that. But other than that, we kind of move on to the topic of getting to some of the stories of survival during the Depression. Now in class, we didn't have the opportunity to watch a video, but the classes were able to read some examples as to what people had to go through living during the Depression, like, kids having piggy banks and parents stealing money from the piggy banks so they can go get transportation in the city to find work. Just very difficult times, parents having to take government acceptance, which many of them were almost ashamed to do at that point. So it's a different time period, different group of people who were too proud to take assistance, not only from the from their friends and neighbors, but also from the federal government. So taking assistance, taking all this stuff was not something people really wanted to do. However, if you want to get a good idea of what we do at this point, and what we talk about, the Century America's time, this video right here for stormy weather, if you open this one up, you can definitely see how it impacts Americans. You can look at this as a good video, but it will definitely show you some stories of people who experienced the Depression. What do they have to say? What don't they like about it? What were some of the tough times they went through? But really look at this video. Again, it's 45 minutes, but you don't have to watch the entire thing to get a good example of what people went through. The video does do a very good job of transitioning from one topic to the next. But again, look at the video, look at some of these examples of people that survived the Depression, and that way you can really see what we went over. All right. Maybe I should close this out here. All right. So next what we did was we went through the book. Again, we started on page 513 to 518, and we got this worksheet here today in class. This is what it looks like. As you can see, there's two sections here, section 15.3 and 15.2. Today's class really only worried about 15.2 only. Now, a lot of the other classes we did some discussion on maybe some current things happening today that are important to our economy and also important to our discussions moving forward. So what I did was I just gave students the rest of the class to work on these answers and figure out what were the Hoovervilles, why were they built. This is something we will talk about, some other things that people looked at Hoover, President Hoover specifically, and why he was taking the blame for a lot of this stuff. Look at farming practices, how it really impacted those that were involved in the Dust Bowl. We'll look at some of the pressures on men and women put in the Depression. And we'll also deal with how discrimination would be a major factor as the Depression gripped the lives of people and families. All right, so specifically racial discrimination. Well, why is this now growing? Because obviously people weren't doing as well, but honestly, I want you to find that in the book. So page 513 is where this section for 15.2 starts, and then that's all we had to do for today's class. So if you download this, print this out, answer some of these questions using the online textbook, and come ready to answer these in class first thing tomorrow. All right, that's all I have for you. Everyone have a fantastic day. Oh, also, before I cancel, I'm sorry. There's a new check for understanding on Canvas due. If I go home, it is week 16, which deals with this past week's material. So make sure you get online to take care of that. So if I bring that up, come online, you can check that out. It's going to be due December 19th, 11:59 p.m. That's next Tuesday. Again, the key is here. Using this week's discussions, provide one piece of detailed evidence to support your reasoning for which principle was most impacted by our discussions this past week. So, not really current events discussion, but content discussion. And when we talk about the Depression, the financial reasoning behind why the crash leads to the Depression, eventually, what does that mean? So we have all this stuff here, so please take it into account with some of this stuff that we went over in class this past week. All right? Everyone have a fantastic day. I will talk to you later.